Welcome to the Explainer. So glad you're here, because today we're tackling something pretty much all of us struggle with. You know that feeling when your time is just slipping away? Like you're constantly busy, always doing something, but somehow you're never actually moving forward on the stuff that really matters? Well, today, we're mapping out a highly effective system to stop that from happening. We're going to look at how you can design your absolute best month without burning out in the process. Let's get right into it.
Where did the month go? Man, we have all asked that question. It's the first of the month, right? And you tell yourself with absolute certainty, okay, this month is going to be different. And then you blink, literally blink, and suddenly it's the 28th. You look back and realize those goals you set on the 1st, completely untouched. That new habit you swore you'd finally build, yeah, that didn't make it past day 4. And that major project deadline just completely crept up on you. It's an uncomfortable truth, but a month feels so incredibly long when it starts, and yet impossibly short when it ends. And listen, that is not bad luck. That's just exactly what happens when you never actually plan your month. You end up just living inside of it, reacting to one random day at a time.
So let's walk through exactly how this trap plays out. Week 1 hits, and you've got that fresh, new month, new me energy. You have this loose idea in your head, maybe you want to save more money, get healthier, but nothing's actually written down. By week 2, the reality of life sets in. Work piles up, and that vague plan just quietly slips away. Then we hit week 3, and oh boy, this is pure survival mode. You're just reacting, replying to whatever's most urgent in your inbox, honestly forgetting your original goal even existed. And finally, week 4 arrives. You realize you only have 4 days left and you're either frantically cramming to make progress or, let's be real, you've just given up. You're just waiting for the month to end so you can start fresh all over again. It's exhausting, it's a totally chaotic reality.
But the crucial thing here is understanding why this exhausting cycle keeps repeating. It happens because most of us only ever plan in 2 speeds, day-to-day reacting or weekly cramming. Think about it. If you're only planning your daily to-do lists or maybe just throwing together a rough schedule for the week, you are totally missing the big picture. It's basically like steering a massive ship, but you don't have a map. You're just bracing yourself, reacting to whatever wave happens to hit you next.
Now, let's think about the math behind this for a second, because it's honestly a little scary. This is not just a one-month problem. If you string 12 unplanned, drifting months together, you get an entire unplanned year. String a few of those years together, and suddenly 5 years has just vanished without anything in your life actually changing. Careers do not change in a day. Bodies don't transform in a single week. And bank accounts, they definitely don't grow in an afternoon. All that real, tangible progress, it happens across weeks and months. So if you aren't designing where your time goes on a monthly level, you're literally letting years slip by default.
But hey, here is the good news, and it comes down to just one number, 20. You don't need some complicated, overwhelming system to fix this. You don't need a 40-tab spreadsheet that takes a PhD to understand, and you definitely don't need to book a 5-hour planning retreat in the woods. You just need 20 minutes. 20 minutes, once a month, done the right way. The people who consistently hit their goals, they aren't superhuman. They just use this exact 20-minute window to zoom out and design their time, instead of accidentally discovering where it went on the 30th. So here's how this 20 minutes builds into a step-by-step system you can actually use today. Okay, let's look at the first phase of our system. Step 1 is super fast, just 2 minutes. Zoom out before you zoom in. Ask yourself, what would make this month a genuine win? We're not talking about a massive to-do list here, just one sentence. Maybe it's surviving a really hard season at work without burning out, or finally sticking to a workout routine. Everything else gets built around that one sentence. Step 2, a 4-minute full-life brain dump. Get every deadline, every bill, birthday, and nagging thought out of your head and onto paper. Doing this instantly lowers that low-grade anxiety you've been carrying around. And then step 3 takes just 3 minutes. Pull up your monthly calendar and mark your fixed dates. Paydays, weddings, doctor's appointments. Think of these like massive mountains placed on a map. You cannot move them, so the rest of your month has to flow around them, not through them.
That brings us to step 4. I really want you to burn this number into your mind. 3. Look at that massive brain dump you just did and choose exactly 3 goals for the entire month. Just 3. Actually, this is exactly where almost everyone goes wrong. People try to overhaul 5 different parts of their life all at once, and what happens? They end up making 0 progress on any of them. 3 focus goals will absolutely be 10 scattered ones, every single time. And you've got to make them specific. Don't write down get healthier. Write down work out 12 times. Because a goal you can actually measure is a goal you can actually plan around. All right, so moving on to step 5, slicing it up. A monthly goal feels huge, right? It feels vague until you break it down. So take one of those big 3 goals and spread it out across the 4 weeks. If your goal is 12 workouts this month, put 3 workouts in week 1,
3 in week 2, and so on. See what happened? Now it's a weekly target, not just a monthly wish. If you're trying to finish a big work project, maybe week 1 is research, week 2 is drafting, week 3 is revising. You're essentially taking one intimidating mountain and turning it into 4 manageable, bite-sized weekly steps. And those weekly steps, they give you something you can actually act on when you wake up this coming Monday. Now let's talk about step 6. A goal without a scheduled first action is just a wish with a deadline attached. This is the absolute truth. The biggest mistake people make is writing a goal on their calendar but never actually scheduling that very first step. You can't just write "start budgeting" somewhere in the margins of your month. No, you have to write Sunday, 10 a.m., set up budget categories as a concrete, locked-in calendar event. If you do not anchor that very first step to a specific day and time, I promise you, it remains a wish. Okay, we've reached the final execution phase. Step 7 is basically your safety net, the mid-month check-in. Around day 14 or 15, I want you to put a simple 15-minute appointment on your calendar. This is crucial. It's the exact moment where monthly plans either survive or quietly die off. Sit down and ask yourself, hey, am I on track? What needs adjusting? If you're behind, you can pivot right then, instead of waiting until week 4 when it's way too late. It makes your plan a living, breathing thing. And finally, step 8, leave white space. Seriously, do not fill every single day. Life is going to happen. Sickness, emergencies, surprise deadlines, they pop up. Leave some days genuinely open. These aren't wasted days. They're your shock absorbers. They keep one bad Tuesday from derailing your whole month.
So here is the core insight behind everything we've talked about today. And it's wild because almost nobody talks about this. The month is actually the absolute smallest unit of time where real visible transformation happens. A single day? It's just too short to see change. Even a week is usually too short. But a month? A month is long enough to establish a real habit, to complete a significant project, or to actually notice your fitness improving. The month is without a doubt the most underrated planning window that exists. And that's exactly why so few people feel like their life is moving in a clear direction. They are obsessively planning their days but totally ignoring the months. The crucial, deeper truth I really want you to take away today is this. You aren't behind in life because you lack discipline. You don't lack willpower. You're simply behind because you have been drifting. You've been living month to month without ever sitting down and deciding in advance what each month was actually for. But the moment you start doing that, even if you do it imperfectly at first, you stop drifting and you start building. 12 intentional months, designed in advance, is exactly how a completely different, transformed year happens. It doesn't take some dramatic life overhaul. It just takes 20 quiet minutes 12 times a year.
Which leaves you with one final question to think about. Are you going to drift through your next month, just kind of hoping for the best? Or are you going to steer it? Right now, or on the very first day of your next month, I want you to set a 20-minute timer. Write down that one-sentence win. Do the brain dump. Mark your fixed dates. Pick your big 3 goals. Slice them into weekly steps and schedule those first actions. Just try it for one single month. By the 30th, you are going to be blown away by the difference. Not because the month miraculously got easier, but because for the very first time, you were the one holding the map and steering the ship. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, guys. Get out there and build your best month.